Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of Backstage with Fred. I'm with Seth. How are you?
Doing great. Just down in Chesapeake Bay, Maryland at JSConf. Coming off the conference circuit. Last week we had React Conf in Vegas and made some major announcements there, specifically around some new releases for React, as well as some new features for React, as well as the React Foundation, which is getting a lot of traction. And so they asked me to come down and do some opening remarks here at JSConf about the foundation.
So let's talk about the foundation. So it was announced 7 days ago, if I'm not right?
Exactly
If I'm not
7
wrong?
days ago, yeah.
Yeah. So what is the foundation?
So basically, the React Foundation is being formed to give React a home that, will outlast any one team or group of contributors or company to create a more open table for people to come and contribute, to formalize technical governance in a way that allows more people to bring their ideas to the table, be heard, and have that go through a process to bring those to production. There's a lot of people who've wanted features from React over the years. It's been very hard for people to bring those into mainstream. So kind of formalizing that process and making it a little easier for everybody to know what's going on. But it really is about caring for React in a way that makes sure that it has a home that's going to outlast us all. This 15 years in the next 15 years.
Yeah, no, that's great. We think about all those technologies that are super important for developers. It's great to have a foundation that care about it and not just one company. With all respect for the company behind it, I mean, like having multiple company on the board that ensure that, like as you said, there is a future. And what I really love, like you did a quick introduction about the foundation and you talk about a lot of stuff, but basically you were saying about the fact that like it's about people, it's about the community. So I'm really happy like you're bringing that vision to the foundation, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's very easy in this world of tech to lose sight of the fact that every single piece of technology that we rely on, whether it's the technology powering AI, to the technology that powers your phone, the technology that powers all the e-commerce sites in the world, were created by people. In this world of AI, it's easy to start forgetting that there didn't used to be vibe coding. There didn't used to be AI generating code. Those are human beings, and the values of human beings are represented in those bytes and those lines of code, and for the good and for the bad. Like there's great code, there's bad code, and we're all working together to create a more vibrant future. And I think that AI can be a very positive force in that, but I also want to just keep it focused on the fact that the stronger we hold on to our humanity, the better the outcome is going to be for all involved. And so I think from the top to the bottom, the most important thing that we can think about is how to be more inclusive and bring more people into the fold, because great ideas come from everywhere, man.
Yep. No, I agree. That is music to my ears. So I'm a developer advocate, so my job is all about people. And maybe I'm a dreamer, but when we think about AI, I really don't want us to forget about the people. Like we're at JSConf right now. With all respect for all the speakers, I spend most of my time in the break space to talk with people, to connect with people, because that is like learning about tech is amazing, but connecting with people, I think it's what the most important when I go to conferences. So
same, yeah. I'm actually an introvert by nature, but there's something about these kinds of conferences, that I very often leave more energized than I come in, which is not the case for a lot of work offsites and things like that, right? I end up being very drained by the end of the day. Sorry, boss. But for conferences like this, I remember my first one, which I was years into leading the React team before I finally went to a React conference. And going to that conference, it was actually one in London, and connecting the work I'd been doing for that many years to human beings. I'd always held this in my mind. There's a story of a woman named Dalia Awad, who she was from Gaza, I believe, and she bootstrapped her way into a Google internship via learning robotics locally. through open source software and so forth, and like change the economic future for her family. And I had always held this story in my mind as I thought about what was my North Star. You know, it's helping others bring their ideas to life, but like I would hold this person in my mind as like the person I would visualize when I was thinking about, man, that was a hard meeting, or this was a hard day, or whatever, but it's all worth it because, right? And when I started going to conference, I started to meet the people who fit this archetype that was so meaningful to me. And then I started to sit down and have one-on-one conversations with these folks and learn about their stories and learn how, you know, React had changed their lives and changed their families' lives and given them, you know, an opportunity that maybe because of the low barrier to entry and the high reward isn't available, you know, to everybody. But because of that low barrier to entry, like if you're willing to put in the time, you can also learn React and you can also become a part of the JavaScript community. And I think that's one of the major, you know, powerful forces of the JavaScript community is that, unlike other languages, the barrier to entry is low, and the reward is high. And so if you can learn it, you know, it's kind of like I'm from New York, so if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. But if you can make it with JavaScript, you know, and learn something like React or Svelte or learn one of these other front end frameworks, like you can have a very, very rewarding career.
Yeah.
And like, the fact that, again, that all came before AI. Human beings built that. To bring it back to that, I think that's really, really remarkable.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I'm old, so I'm like even pre-JQuery. So having all those frameworks that makes your life easier, it's just great. Like being a software developer right now, I know like some people feel like it's tricky with AI, but I feel like there's still a lot of great opportunities out there. And I think developer's life will hopefully just get easier with like everything you're doing or you're gonna do with the foundation.
You know, I think you know. So I mean, I'm taking on this role with the foundation because I believe that React and JavaScript and the ecosystem has a vibrant future ahead. Otherwise, I wouldn't take the job. But I also think that, you know, there are plenty of analogies that work here, but you know, before we discovered domesticating horses, we walked everywhere, right? And then eventually we domesticated horses, and we stopped walking everywhere, and we started riding horses when we could. And then we figured out the internal combustion engine, and actually first figured out steam engines, but eventually we figured out other ways, you know, of transportation, and we haven't stopped going places. We can just go farther, right? And so I think a lot about these new tools as ways that will help us go farther, not things that are going to take away the power or our agency. It will just allow us to do more with the tools that we have available and solve the harder problems that haven't yet been solved by machines. And so I'm very, very optimistic about AI, and I know a lot of people aren't, and I do think that the job market has to change in order to accommodate the advent of AI. But I just think that human beings have demonstrated for 1 million years that we are incredibly adaptive, and we will figure out a way to make this new tool a part of our daily lives in a way that enriches us and doesn't hurt us.
Yeah, no, make total sense. So thanks for those bites of wisdom. Thanks a lot for your time, and hopefully see you soon at next JavaScript conference.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.